everybody, how's it going? Welcome to today's live stream. I am JK from Animator Island, and it has been a while. That's on me. I apologize. It's, I think, a month since we did a last live stream. Things have been hectic and crazy life-wise. Still trying to get this health issue under control, but you know what? Show must go on and all that jazz. So back today to do a shorter live stream. We're going to take a look at some art that I'm working on for our upcoming weekend Panda game, Cardfire. Long story short, before we jump into it, I've been working on this game for a while now. I've nailed down a lot of the pieces, artistically speaking, but I still have not managed to really land on character design for the main characters that I like. So I'll take a look. We'll take a look together at stuff on the iPad and start trying to do some analyzing on the pieces that I have to try and pull something together. I don't know. It's at this point I'm kind of frustrated because it's like, why isn't this just landing on what I wanted it to be? So we'll see. But let me go ahead and add the iPad screen. Boy, I've done this in so long, I have to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing to do that. Okay, here we go. Good deal. All right, so probably a lot of little icons and things that are on here that I have not shown before because, again, it's been a while since I did anything. But I'm going to just jump down to this. This is a piece that I did recently for just kind of an art exercise. Somebody was posting a prompt that was Spaceman, and I wanted to help out with doing something for their not really a contest, but just their art prompt that they were putting out there. So I did this drawing. Really kind of dig it. I like how it turned out. It's different than some of the stuff that I would normally do. But one of the things that when I was doing this, it felt like a combination of some of the old style that I used to have that I started working towards changing and that new style that I was going after. So this kind of spoke to me in a way that fused those things together. It was very comfortable for me to do this piece. It was the right amount of discomfort, I should say, because there were aspects of it that I was not comfortable with. I don't usually do. I don't usually do this level of detail and that sort of thing, but I really like how it turned out. So I thought I'd take this piece. I'm going to have to flatten things, I think. So hang on one second. Do we want to do this? I should be able to fit this all in one, I think, hopefully. Well, we'll try. Anyway, so I'm going to take all of this and move it into its own file, which normally I would have done in advance, but I was like, well, let's just do it on the live stream. So we'll duplicate that. Hey, we had enough layers. That's good. And then we'll flatten it. That'll put it all into its own. And then we'll take this and move it to another file. And my goal here will be to kind of use that as reference for what I'm working on in terms of character design for this game. So we'll put this over here so that we have it kind of as just an idea. So what I was thinking about was, if this character showed up in the game, would I be pleased with that? And I would. If this was the character design for the game and they were like an NPC in the game, I would be pretty pleased with the style of it and the look of it and just in general. So I wanted to pull that in as I was continuing to explore. And then we'll go down, far, far down, buried somewhere, and we'll start pulling some other things. This is one of the main character designs. I was playing around with some alternate face styles and things. So I'm going to grab these, but I will also have to do the same thing where taking, where is everything? Oh man, what a mess this is. This is a mess of a file. All right, I'll group those. Whoop, did we run out of room? Hang on. Yeah, okay, so I reached my maximum layers on this one. So I cannot do it that way, but I think there's no problem just flattening this. If there is, then oh well, I'll redo it. So let's just grab these. And we'll put that in the other file. And we're just kind of collecting everything together so that I can have a starting point to kind of do some explorations on character styles and designs. Text in there, and then we'll grab Leah, who is the main character, main character. These are some of the sprites that I was working on for different expressions. I generally hate all of them because they're very stiff and lifeless, and they're driving me nuts. I've tried to like loosen up and draw these characters, and they're just not flowing. They're not doing what I want them to do. It's getting closer. I've general design elements down, but it's just not there. So I even wrote myself a note here. You can see it says structure, then outfit, loosen up at first. I was drawing too tense and I just need to loosen up a lot more. So let me grab some of these. We'll just grab this one, this pose, and take it with us. It's not that I shouldn't say that I hate them all. I mean, I kind of do, but some of them have elements that I like. It's not working. So anyway, we'll keep, that's what we're doing today. We're just going to play with stuff and see what happens. And if we can come to some sort of conclusion here, it's been driving me crazy. Okay. With those in place, those are going to be our reference. And then we'll just pull up random purple. I was trying out some new brushes as well, but this tinderbox one remains my favorite, so I'm going to stick with that. And then we're going to just kind of do some analysis and talk about things. So with these characters that I have for this game, as you'll see, especially on Daxon here, we have these, the eyes are, the pupils are rather large. The eyes in general are rather large, but the pupils specifically are pretty large. And for Leah, that kind of works. It loans itself to that expressive quality that I wanted for her. But when I was working on the spaceman character, I definitely reduced eye size and I made it simpler. And I like that. Like there's something about that just speaks to me a little bit more. It's closer to that old school style that I used to do with more comic style rather than, I feel like some of these lean heavier, maybe anime or just some other style that's not jiving with me entirely for at least this game. So I was playing around with different ideas and I ended up somewhere in this one, which you could kind of tell is, it's not a far cry from what I did up here. I did these long apart, so it wasn't like I was referencing them, but I kind of like that. So I was thinking at the very least for Daxon, I could do that sort of smaller pupil and smaller eyes that are I think it just lends itself better to his character. But then I thought, well, is it going to be weird to have that for his character and then everybody else has all these big eyes? So what I wanted to kind of try and do is a variation on Leah or some rough sketches that would help me to see if I could blend those two worlds in a sense. I don't know if that's a possibility right now, but we're going to try. So given that I still don't have a great handle on this character, it's going to be rough and messy, but that's okay. We'll just keep trying stuff and make it work. Another thing that is kind of developed, and I'll go back for a second to one of the other things that I've been working on this too. This is a kind of little Halloween piece. I don't usually do much for Halloween. That's not my holiday, but I had this idea in my head of this kind of pumpkin girl that her hair would be green like the pumpkin stem, and then the outfit would be orange like a pumpkin. And then I kind of just kept playing around with stuff, and I ended up with this, and I kind of like it. This, and so actually, while I'm at it, I might as well grab this and put it in my reference. This speaks to me. I find it appealing. It went through a ton of iterations, which I can actually show over here. I tried so many different variations on this and just messed with stuff and pushed proportions and tried things. And it was a process just to get to this rough point. But I finally got to a point that I actually liked. So that is another kind of launching point for me. I will put that up in the corner here too. But I think it's another element that it doesn't go all the way to that super big eye expressive quality, but it still leans that a little bit. It's got that, I don't know, there's some quality of it that I really like. So let's mess with that too while we're in the process of everything else. But one of the things that I was, the reason I was bringing this particular piece up was this ear style. I kind of like. This is kind of something that I came across while I was just doing drawings and doodles and things, and I really kind of like it. It's not necessarily new or special, but it's a way of doing kind of ears that I wouldn't mind, incorporating into my own style. So I'm going to go with that for this rough. We'll see if it sticks around long term, but for this rough, I'm going to go with that. And then for Leah, we have okay. So typically, for this character, the eyes are somewhere in this neighborhood, and then we have a kind of an upturned nose, which I'm not necessarily sold on, but it's in the original design of the Cardfire, Card Battles game that we released before. That's actually something I should pull too. So hang on one second. I will go down through and see if I can find, there we go. So these characters along the side here, those three, are the original designs from the first game. So you can see they're very different. Well, not very, but they're significantly different from where we're headed now. But they're the basis for what I did in the original game. And so I wanted to, well, the characters are a little older now, so I definitely wanted to add some age to them. Not a ton, still young kids, but they are now, they're no longer quite at the age that they were in the last game. So I definitely want to age them a bit, which I think you can tell from the new designs. But that was the original look, and that's kind of what the character is based on. So we have, this is the original, and then it kind of is evolving into this or whatever ends up coming from this. But we still have that sort of same principles of design with the puffy hair in the front. The bangs have changed slightly, and then we have the kind of ponytail in the back there. But that's generally early going. So it's something I want to keep in mind. I still want to harken back to that, but I'm not sold on keeping things exactly the way that they are there. So all that being said, we have eyes. We'll need to, I don't even know if I want to mess with eyebrows first or later, but we'll just play with stuff and see what happens. Let's stick with just a smile instead of the full open mouth for this one, just to see what happens. And, we have those kind of rosy cheek thing going on for Leah, and I like that, but it does flatten things out, so I'm not sure if I want to keep it or not. For now, I'll leave it in there, but I'm just not sure if we're going to keep it long term. And then, a lot of the design elements are already figured out. Like I know that I want these kind of this triangle shaped bang sort of thing, and then her hair will come back here and then go into this big kind of poof at the top, which is similar to that first one. And we have this kind of seashell shape in there, and comes down on the other side, and this comes down into the back of her head. So this stuff is already not necessarily set, but it's I played with those designs long enough that I know that that I want to keep those elements, which is good, because if I had to start from scratch every time, I would go crazy. But generally speaking, that's going to be sort of her silhouette. So what I'm trying to nail down here is the eyes, is the face, and that sort of making it something more along these two, right? Rather than where I was before, especially this one. Like, I hate that one. It's just, it's ugly. It's just not a nice looking face. This one is certainly improved, but there's still room for something. So if I stick with the kind of large whites of the eyes, like this, I could, looking at this for reference, I could shrink the pupils just to see if maybe that fixes some things. But the problem is that it's gonna, again, we're gonna take her to being older still, because that tends to be one of the key elements to an older character, is when you have the pupils become smaller. So here I mean, it's got other issues that makes it a mess, but we've reduced the pupils down so far that it just doesn't work anymore. So I don't think it's going to work to give her like the same type of eyes as everybody else. But that doesn't mean that I couldn't shrink the eyes down and see what happens there. So let's try that. I don't even need to really duplicate it. I think I'll just, let's mess with some of the proportions for a second, because they're a little bit off. And the beauties of digital work, you can do these things. All right, so that's going to probably be a little bit closer. Whoops, no, I wanted it the way it was. Okay, and then from there we'll duplicate that and move it down, and then we'll play with this one a little bit without those eyes. So if we take this part out, take the eyes out for a second, and we'll make sure that this reads the way that it needs to, because I, again, don't really want to lose that silhouette and that those design elements that I've already done. I'm pretty content with. I think we need to reduce her face size a bit, because again, she is still relatively young. It's not like we're doing a teenage version here or something. And what if we I'm going to merge everything else together, and let's just play with some ideas. What if we just straight out stole the eyes from this character and see what happens if we move them over? It won't really work with, I'm going to have to, adjust sizes and stuff and placement, but I'm curious if we can use something from that as a starting point. You know what I mean? Is there a way we can take these proportions or something? So one thing that I'd like to include, if I can, but I don't know if that's going to work, is putting different shape at the bottom of her eyes. All right, so that's kind of just taking from what I already had and putting it on the character. I don't hate that, and I think that it fits better with this design at the bottom here, which is what more I'm leaning towards. It's not right. There's issues, because there's just going to be issues over and over and over again until we manage to nail everything down. Like, that's just art. Something that I always want to stress is you're going to constantly go through iteration after iteration after iteration before you land on what your final is going to be. But I'm just, again, playing with stuff, and so let's see what happens if we keep messing with things like that. We'll copy and paste this in another version. Down slightly, and then let's erase the eyes again, and we'll put the eyes of the spaceman character on here, and that won't work at all because it's a completely different expression than what Leah would ever have. But I'm just trying things right now, so we're just going to try some stuff. And so let's grab this bit and we'll copy and paste it. I'll bring it down. These are much more Daxon eyes than they are Leah eyes, but that's okay because we're just trying things. Oh man, that's a mess. Look at that. Look at that mess. What a mess. That's okay though, because we just want to try things and see what we can do. So if we took that as our starting point and then super drop the opacity because that is monstrous. But if we took that and we changed the expression but kept general proportions, let's see what happens. And then instead of super thick eyebrows, we would go with thinner ones. And turn that off. Okay. So here we have kind of going with the, let me fill these in. They would be dark pupils. Here we have going with that eye style of the spaceman character. This doesn't work at all. But it's good to try that because now I know that I can't just jump straight to that sort of eye style and make it work. I wonder what would happen if we put on Daxon's alternate eye style. So let's try it because literally right now we are just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. So we'll move this mess up here for a minute. Doesn't matter where it goes because we're not keeping any of this. We're just doing experiments. And we'll take out the eyes again. I mean, on the plus side, I'm glad that I know that this is my base that I'm working with, right? So it's comforting to know that I have that sort of base, but I'm just not getting the face down to where it needs to be yet. But let's go ahead and grab these eyes because they are the ones that are closer to what I'd like that character to be. And again, this doesn't work because it's not the eyes to that character, but we're using them as a base. And so we can tweak from there. Okay, so there we have, if we used kind of the eye style of that other character, Daxon, and that's not as atrocious as this spaceman one. It's still not what I'd want it to be, but I feel like we're at least getting somewhere with this one that's maybe just taking some modifications from this one, which I think works better in some ways. So I think we just need to maybe increase the pupil size a bit, and we might be onto something a little bit more, a little bit closer. But yeah, this is just this, man. It's been a frustrating run because normally I don't have to. Normally things come a little quicker than this character, and I think part of it is me putting a lot of pressure on myself because I really want this to be right, and it's not happening. But if we took these pupils out and we increase the size of them slightly. I feel like this is going to be a more comfortable style for everybody else, but I just still think that it's not there. There's just something about it that's not right, and not like, it might be the proportions, but I don't know that I don't think it's something as simple as proportion. It's always a possibility, but I just don't think that that's the problem here. I don't know. Well, so I think if I came to any conclusion through these exercises, it's that if I want everything to be unified around a different sort of face and eye style, that this original or redo, the more final version of the redo that I did before, is not going to fly. It's just, it doesn't fit well enough with the other characters. I don't think it might. I don't know. I just don't think that it does. But there's still work to do because I can't seem to nail down where this. I can't seem to nail down where this character's face and personality is. I got the personality down, but I can't get the character design to align with the personality well. So there's still going to be some exercises to do and some things to mess around with. I did want to hang on, let me pop that up. I did want to at least do a quick live stream. I know it was a very short one this time around, just to kind of get back into the habit of it. I did want to not leave everybody hanging because, again, it's been a while since we've done one, and I apologize for that. So hopefully this will be the start to get back into it. I had some other projects that finally finished, so I should be able to do a couple more live streams more often. And we'll continue to develop characters and continue to figure out animation stuff and things like that as this game goes on, and just general art. But I hope that something out of there was useful. At the very least, you have one more instance of experience knowing that some other artist out there is struggling mightily with some design, and it just happens that way sometimes. So I'm going to keep messing with this and tweaking it, and then we'll see how it goes. And eventually it will be in the final game one way or the other, because game's got to get released. So that's all I've got for today. And I hope everybody out there is safe and well, and you have a good week. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.